Every Thursday night, America gathers to watch the Huxtables, a family filled with joy, morality, and unforgettable warmth. But behind the scenes of this television paradise, tragedy brews quietly. There are sudden deaths, legal troubles, forgotten graves, and dreams crushed by addiction, illness, or betrayal. This is not the show you remember. This is the truth behind the smiles and stars we lost too soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Earl Hyman as Russell Huxtable. Earl Hyman was 58 when he entered The Cosby Show as Russell Huxtable, an elegant, soft-eyed patriarch whose calm demeanor balanced the chaos of the Huxtable household. To millions of viewers, he was the perfect grandfather, wise, gentle, and dignified. But away from the spotlight, Hyman lived a life haunted by quiet rejection and a love the world never fully recognized. Born October 11, 1926, in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, Hyman moved with his family to Brooklyn in search of education and opportunity. He found nothing. Instead, he discovered a harsh ceiling for black actors in American theater. Despite his formal training and his masterful portrayals of Shakespearean roles, including Othello, Macbeth, and King Lear, Hollywood saw only his appearance. The most tragic chapter began not on stage, but in his heart. In 1954, Hyman met Rolf Sirnes, a Norwegian sailor with whom he would share a deeply private life for 5 decades. They lived together as life partners, but the word life partner never appeared in print. Their love, though passionate and enduring, was buried beneath coded letters and polite silences. Hyman, a gay black man in mid-century America, chose invisibility over scandal. Unable to bear the racism common in the American entertainment industry, he fled to Norway, where he became fluent in Norwegian and beloved by the theater community. There he found fame, fortune, and peace. But back home he was forgotten, overshadowed by the entertainment industry's refusal to let a black man shine without conditions. He quickly returned to fame in America with The Cosby Show, which was nominated for an Emmy in 1986, but it all passed. He lived out his final years at the Lillian Booth Actors Home in Englewood, New Jersey. He passed away on November 17, 2017, at the age of 91. His fortune, estimated at $2 million, was modest given his influence. And in 2020, a little justice came. The Folger Shakespeare Library acquired his letters and personal clothing, finally restoring him to the place he always belonged, among the greats. Clarice Taylor as Anna Huxtable. Clarice Taylor was 66 when she first appeared on The Cosby Show as Anna Huxtable, Cliff's gentle but strong mother. To viewers, she was the embodiment of warmth and deep wisdom. But behind the camera lens, she carried a painful truth that haunted her for decades. Born on September 20, 1917 in Buckingham County, Virginia, and raised on the tough streets of Harlem, Clarice grew up in a world where black women were not allowed to dream, only to exist. As a child, she watched her mother die from untreated illness, denied medical care due to racism. The pain never went away. She buried it in books, letters, and finally a dusty stage script that she kept folded and tucked away in her coat pocket for 20 years. Her greatest sadness came in 1958. Working 2 jobs, as a postal worker by day and a hospital aide by night, Clarice secretly auditioned for a major theater role that could have changed her life. She got the part, but just days before the premiere, her father, Leon B. Taylor Sr., suffered a massive stroke. With no one to care for her, she left the stage and quietly disappeared. The role was then given to a young white actress who became an overnight Broadway star. For decades, Clarice disappeared from public view. She grieved not only for the loss of her career, but also for a life she believed would never be hers. She did not return to acting full-time until she was in her 40s. Some thought it was too late to become a star, but she didn't need fame. She needed attention, and The Cosby Show gave her that, if only for a moment. She died on May 30th, 2011, at the age of 93, of congestive heart failure. Her death went largely unnoticed by Hollywood. At the time of her death, her net worth was estimated at less than $1 million, just a fraction of what she would earn if the first curtain were lifted for her. Ethel Ayler as Carrie Hanks. Ethel Ayler was 54 when she joined The Cosby Show as Carrie Hanks, Claire Huxtable's mother, a role that exuded warmth, calm, and quiet authority. But behind those brief on-screen appearances was a 5-decade career buried under the crushing weight of invisibility. Born May 1, 1932, in Whistler, Alabama, Ethel navigated her way from the segregated South to the world of Broadway, a world that largely ignored her. She debuted in 1957, apprenticed with Lena Horne in Jamaica, and then became the lead in The Blacks, a show so revolutionary it shook the foundations of off-Broadway. Yet for all her brilliance, she remained a shadow of the stars. The most tragic blow came in 1990. Ayler gave a brilliant, layered performance in To Sleep with Anger, a role that should have propelled her to mainstream fame. Critics praised her. She was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award, but the film industry remained silent. There were no new offers. Hollywood, still bound by implicit stereotypes, had no room for an older black woman who didn't fit its narrow definition of fame. By the time she appeared in Eve's Bayou in 1997, that was clear. Ayler gave her all in an industry that offered her little in return. Her last Broadway role was that year, in The Little Foxes. After that, she went quiet. She died on November 18, 2018, in Loma Linda, California, at the age of 88. There is no official news. Her net worth at the time of her death was estimated to be between $500,000 and $1 million. Not enough for a woman who has spent her life carrying 1,000 untold stories on stage. Merlin Santana as Stanley. Merlin Santana was only 15 years old when he appeared on The Cosby Show as Stanley, the overconfident, philandering boyfriend of Rudy Huxtable. With his mischievous smile and natural charisma, he was destined to become a future teen heartthrob. But no one could have predicted that within a decade, the rising star would suffer such a sudden, meaningless end. Born on March 14, 1976, in Washington Heights, New York, to Dominican immigrant parents, Merlin was pushed into show business at the age of 3 to stay off the streets. He quickly became a familiar face on television, landing starring roles on The Steve Harvey Show, Moesha, and more. But behind the fame, Santana lived in a city that wasn't always concerned about your bright future. In the late 90s, rumors spread about his reclusive lifestyle and his hesitation to trust others. The whispers he once dismissed in an interview were that fame doesn't protect you. Sometimes it makes you a target. And tragically, that's what happened. On the night of November 9, 2002, when he was just 26 years old, Merlin Santana was shot and killed while sitting in a parked car in Los Angeles. The shooter, 19-year-old Damian Gates, was provoked by the lies of his 15-year-old girlfriend, Monique King, who falsely accused Merlin of unwanted advances. A bullet passed through the trunk, through the headrest, and into Merlin's head. He died instantly, a life robbed of him by jealousy and fabrication. His death shook the industry. Gates received 3 life sentences. King, though convicted, only served 10 years in juvenile detention. Justice seemed to have eluded him. Merlin was buried in St. Raymond Cemetery in the Bronx, near the streets where he fought his way up. He left behind a young daughter and an unfinished career. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $500,000, a modest sum for someone whose career path promised to be far more successful. Michelle Thomas as Justine Phillips. Michelle Thomas was just 22 when she played Justine Phillips, Theo Huxtable's glamorous girlfriend on The Cosby Show. Her smile lit up the screen, soft, charming, timeless. But just 8 years later, that light was extinguished forever in one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking teenage tragedies. Born on September 23, 1968, to a stage actress mother and a stylish saxophone-playing father, Michelle was destined for the spotlight. Crowned Miss Teen Talent International at 15, she transitioned seamlessly from pageants to sitcoms, capturing audiences' hearts with her role as Myra Monkhouse on Family Matters. By her mid-20s, she was not only a rising star, but also a health icon, a vegetarian, a non-smoker, and a staunch advocate of holistic living. But in August 1997, the unthinkable happened. She was diagnosed with an extremely rare, aggressive type of small round cell tumor. Her body, once vibrant and resilient, had betrayed her in a brutal way. Surgeons had removed a lemon-sized tumor from her abdomen, and against all odds, she had returned to work on The Young and the Restless, hiding her pain, hiding her fatigue, smiling for the cameras. The tumor had returned. In October 1998, it ruptured. She collapsed. Emergency surgery saved her life, but brought no peace. Michelle made the courageous and haunting decision to stop intensive care. She asked to go home for Thanksgiving. She wanted to feel the warmth of her family, to hear her mother's voice, to be surrounded by love, not tubes. In her final days, she refused morphine. She wanted to be awake to say goodbye. Her ex-boyfriend, Malcolm Jamal Warner, never left her side. On December 23, 1998, just 2 days before Christmas, she breathed her last at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. She was 30 years old. According to her wishes, her funeral was held according to Muslim tradition. She was buried quietly in New Jersey. Her net worth is estimated at $500,000, a pittance compared to the promise she made. Malcolm Jamal Warner as Theodore Theo Huxtable. Malcolm Jamal Warner was just 14 years old when he landed the role of Theodore Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. The only son of Cliff and Claire, Theo was charming, funny, and full of youthful rebelliousness, a relatable teenager who came of age before America's eyes. But while his character struggled with grades and girls, Malcolm was quietly struggling with a much deeper identity crisis behind the scenes. Born on August 18, 1970 in Jersey City, New Jersey, Warner was raised by a single mother who managed his early career. Fame came quickly and harshly. While millions of people followed Theo's life every week, Warner's real life was shrouded in seclusion. Rumors circulated of tensions on set between Malcolm and Bill Cosby, who was reportedly unhappy with Warner's growing fame. Some crew members even whispered that Cosby regularly rewrote Theo's lines to limit his exposure. Warner, once hailed as a breakout star, began to feel like a prisoner on the very set that made him famous. The fallout from The Cosby Show was devastating. Warner struggled to escape Theo's shadow, and offers dried up. He turned to poetry and music, using spoken word as therapy. In the late 2000s, he made headlines again, this time for his dramatic split from actress Regina King. The couple had been together for years, with talk of marriage rife, but the relationship abruptly ended, with friends revealing that Warner had disappeared from her life without warning or closure. It was a pain that King later described as excruciating. Despite these mental shocks, Malcolm Jamal Warner never gave up. As of 2025, he is 54 years old and has quietly rebuilt a remarkable career in television and music. His Emmy-winning role in The People vs. O.J. Simpson and his haunting performance in The Resident have proven he's still got the fire in him. With a net worth of around $6 million, Warner now focuses on directing, playing jazz bass, and fatherhood, roles that give him control, peace, and purpose. He rarely mentions The Cosby Show, but when he does, his voice carries the weight of a boy who had to grow up much faster than Theo. Bill Cosby as Dr. Heathcliff Cliff Huxtable. At 47, Bill Cosby became America's favorite TV dad as Dr. Heathcliff Cliff Huxtable on The Cosby Show. With his warm humor, fatherly wisdom, and gentle charisma, he redefined Black fatherhood on television and rose to legendary status throughout the 1986. But behind his beloved cardigan and knowing smile, a dark, haunting story was waiting to explode. Born on July 12, 1937, in Philadelphia, Cosby grew up in poverty. The son of an alcoholic father and a hardworking maid, he defied adversity to make history as one of the first Black entertainers to break through racial barriers in mainstream media. With a net worth once estimated at more than $400 million, Cosby became a media mogul, real estate mogul, art collector, and Hollywood influencer. But starting in 2005, his carefully built empire collapsed. More than 60 women came forward to accuse Cosby of drugging and sexually assaulting them, spanning decades. Each testimony shattered the illusion, turning laughter into nausea. Despite denying the charges, in 2018, Cosby was convicted of sexually assaulting Andrea Constand and sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, becoming the first celebrity to be imprisoned in the wake of the Me Too hashtag movement. Then, in a shocking twist in June 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his conviction for due process violations, and Cosby was released after serving nearly 3 years. The decision has outraged victims and supporters around the world, while Cosby has portrayed himself as unjustly imprisoned, claiming the whole thing was a political smear, a claim that has only fueled public outrage. As of 2025, Bill Cosby is 88 years old. He lives as a recluse on his Pennsylvania estate, stripped of all the honorary degrees, certifications, and vast legacy he once held. The man once trusted to portray virtue on screen has now become a symbol of betrayal, a chilling reminder that even the most beloved faces can hide the most horrifying truths. Keshia Knight Pulliam as Rudy Huxtable. When The Cosby Show debuted in 1984, audiences instantly fell in love with Rudy Huxtable, Cliff and Claire's adorable, spunky youngest daughter, played by Keshia Knight Pulliam. The 5-year-old became a television sensation, dominating the screen with her wide eyes, quick wit, and irresistible charm. Born on April 9, 1979, in Newark, New Jersey, Keshia became the youngest actress ever nominated for an Emmy at the age of 6. Her portrayal of Rudy, a mix of innocence and bravado, made her a defining child star of the 1980 Esaki. But unlike many young actors who were forgotten by the tabloids, Keshia overcame a difficult challenge. After The Cosby Show ended in 1992, Keshia temporarily withdrew from the public eye to focus on her studies. She then graduated from Spelman College in 2001 with a degree in sociology, defying child star stereotypes and choosing personal growth over public pressure. She returned to acting with Tyler Perry's House of Pain, playing Miranda Lucas, a role that brought her to a new generation of fans. But not all of her adult life has been smooth sailing. In 2016, Keshia married NFL player Ed Hartwell, but the relationship quickly spiraled into a messy divorce. Just days after announcing her pregnancy, Hartwell filed for divorce, sparking a legal and emotional battle. Keshia gave birth to daughter Ella Grace in early 2017 and became a devoted single mother. She has endured painful hardships and media scrutiny, but she has come through them with strength and composure. In recent years, she has continued to act, appearing on reality TV shows like Celebrity Big Brother, and even started her own business supporting Black-owned businesses and female entrepreneurs. She also found love again with actor Brad James, whom she married in 2021. Now 46, Keshia Knight Pulliam is a mother, actress, and attorney. Her estimated net worth is around $8 million, amassed through decades of hard work, smart investing, and relentless perseverance. Felicia Rashad as Claire Huxtable. Felicia Rashad was 36 when she landed the role of Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. A sharp, elegant, outspoken attorney and mother of 5 who redefined what it meant to be a strong Black woman on television. With a calm demeanor and sharp wit, Rashad's Claire was the backbone of the Huxtable family, effortlessly balancing courtroom triumphs with maternal wisdom. Audiences saw grace, confidence, and dignity, but few knew the pain that lay behind her glamorous exterior. Born June 19, 1948, in Houston, Texas, Rashad came from a family of artists. Her sister, Debbie Allen, became a renowned choreographer, and Felicia herself trained in drama at Howard University. But despite her classical education and Broadway pedigree, Hollywood offered her limited roles, usually as a maid or supporting character. The Cosby Show changed that, catapulting her to fame and making her the first Black woman to win a Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. Fame, however, comes with a price. Privately, Rashad has endured a series of emotional challenges. Her marriage to sportscaster Ahmad Rashad, once a glamorous figure, quietly fell apart amid rumors of infidelity and emotional distance. She struggled with typecasting after The Cosby Show, when casting directors were unable or unwilling to see her as anything other than Claire. And perhaps most painfully, she was caught in the public eye when she spoke out in defense of Bill Cosby after his sexual assault conviction was overturned. Her 2021 tweet, "Finally a terrible wrong righted," was met with immediate backlash. Critics called her out of touch, survivors labeled her complicit, and the legacy she spent decades building seemed to be crumbling under the weight of her words. In 2025, Felicia Rashad would be 77. She is now the Dean of the School of Fine Arts at Howard University, leading a new generation of artists while trying to separate her truth from her troubled past. Her net worth, estimated at $25 million, remains stable, but her legacy now walks a fine line between cultural icon and controversial figure, forever linked to both the triumphs and tragedies of the world that defined her. Tempest Bledsoe as Vanessa Huxtable. Tempest Bledsoe was just 11 years old when she was cast as Vanessa Huxtable, the precocious but often underrated 4th daughter of Cliff and Claire on The Cosby Show. For 8 seasons, from 1984 to 1992, Bledsoe grew up on screen in front of millions of viewers, portraying a smart, witty, and relatable character for average kids everywhere. But unlike many of her young co-stars who later faced adversity, Tempest Bledsoe chose a different path. Born August 1, 1973, Bledsoe has shown maturity beyond her years, both on and off set. After The Cosby Show ended, she didn't chase fame or fall into the usual child star traps. Instead, she enrolled at New York University and earned a degree in finance, an unusual and solid move for a former teen star. While Vanessa Huxtable occasionally appeared on reruns, Bledsoe was busy building a life that didn't revolve around red carpets or tabloid headlines. Throughout the 1990 S's and 2000 S's, Bledsoe worked constantly, hosting her own talk show, guest starring on The Practice, Strong Medicine, and The Parkers, and even providing voice work on animated series like The Replacements and the Oscar-nominated Paranorman. In 2010, she returned to television as host of Clean House, replacing Niecy Nash, and later starred in the NBC sitcom Guys with Kids. While many hoped the show would reunite with The Cosby Show, Bledsoe maintained a respectful distance, especially after the show's legacy was overshadowed by Bill Cosby's legal scandals. She rarely commented publicly on these controversies, choosing silence and dignity over sensationalism. As of 2025, Tempest Bledsoe is 52 years old and has had no major scandals, no arrests, no conflicts of any kind, and that is perhaps her greatest achievement in Hollywood. With an estimated net worth of $7 million, she lives a quiet life, focusing on acting, producing, and maintaining a long-term relationship with a different world actor, Darryl M. Bell, with whom she has been with for over 3 decades. They are famously single, and their relationship is stronger than paper. Roscoe Lee Brown as Dr. Barnabas Foster. Roscoe Lee Brown was 63 when he appeared on The Cosby Show as Dr. Barnabas Foster, a brilliant, commanding professor of oratory who taught both Cliff and Claire Huxtable. With his deep, smooth voice and commanding presence, he was the kind of actor who made even silence sound like Shakespeare. Born on May 2, 1922 in Woodbury, New Jersey, Brown had lived many lives before Hollywood realized it. A war veteran, a poetry professor, a vintner, and a national track champion. He didn't act professionally until his mid-30s, and even then, he refused to succumb to Hollywood's racist expectations. He turned down dozens of roles, telling producers, "I'm not your butler unless your butler speaks French and recites Yeats." But that dignity came at a price. While others rose to stardom by embracing stereotypes, Brown chose to stay out of the mainstream. His voice, described as a mink coat, narrates everything from Star Wars albums to slave stories. However, he is often labeled as too white for refusing to code switch. His response is, "I had a white maid once." He was a typically elegant, shrewd Roscoe. He never married, had no known partner, and lived alone in a house filled with books and silence. Friends said he was intelligent but aloof, a man more comfortable with Chekhov than champagne. Behind that smooth voice was loneliness, and perhaps a sadness that no audience could see. On April 11, 2007, Roscoe Lee Brown passed away from stomach cancer at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles at the age of 84. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $3 million, not from blockbuster deals, but from a lifetime of steadfast, principled artistry. Sabrina LaBeouf as Sandra Huxtable. Sabrina LaBeouf was only 26 years old when she took on the role of Sandra Huxtable, the eldest daughter on The Cosby Show. Despite being close to her on-screen mother's age, her calm acting and Ivy League image made her a staple of 1980 SOS television. Born on March 21, 1958, in New Orleans, Louisiana, Sabrina's early life was anything but glamorous. Her parents divorced shortly after her birth, and she spent several years living with her grandmother in South Central Los Angeles before reuniting with her mother and strict stepfather in Inglewood. The segregated streets of the South haunted her family's past, while the racial prejudice she encountered in acting schools stirred a quiet rage. At UCLA, she was denied roles because of her skin color and formed a black student theater group in protest. But Hollywood had other plans. When Whitney Houston famously turned down the role of Sandra to pursue music, Sabrina became the second choice, shaping her legacy. Behind the scenes, rumors circulated that she never felt fully accepted by the Cosby cast. Some thought she was too serious. Others whispered that she was distant, even melancholy. Some fans saw it as a decline, Hollywood's loss of a talented black actress who could dominate the screen. But insiders knew she was struggling with what they called a post-fame identity retreat, a mix of anxiety, disillusionment, and mental fatigue. Her 1997 divorce from her husband, businessman Michael Reynolds, only added to her loneliness. As of 2025, Sabrina LeBeau is 67 years old. She remains committed to the stage, performing regularly with the Washington, D.C. Shakespeare Company, where she continues to act with quiet intensity and rare grace. Despite her life away from the spotlight, her estimated net worth of $5 million reflects a career built on principle, not profit. Which of these beloved Cosby Show stars resonates with you the most? Their stories may be over song, but their influence lives on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the truth behind Hollywood's brightest smiles.